Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Mortgage Coach Tuesday coaching call. Every Tuesday morning, 9 o'clock Pacific, we're here to deliver the industry's absolute best sales meeting every week. My name is Dave Savage. I'm the CEO of Mortgage Coach, and I have the honor of bringing great leaders from the Mortgage Coach community onto calls like this and sharing strategies. We have the honor at Mortgage Coach of helping 5% of the nation's best mortgage professionals who are delivering mortgage experience for millions of borrowers. I do urge you, if you're new to this call, connect with me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Tumblr. I'm always available, and I'm always delivering the best advice from our community. Our big why at Mortgage Coach is to help you deliver better advice to home buyers and realtors. We believe that one of the best ways of doing that is simple mortgage options, which our tools and our teachings fuel. We believe that every time someone gets mortgage debt, they need a strategy to become debt-free faster. So we provide simple features and tools to deliver that and to do it on mobile. Also, make sure you connect with Mortgage Coach, Facebook, LinkedIn. We have a very active YouTube page, and we're posting almost daily. There's a lot of folks giving referrals out on our Facebook page, so join us. Also want to remind everybody, we have this call every Tuesday. Every Thursday we have a training call at 9 o'clock, and every Friday we have a basics program. And those are always at 9 o'clock Pacific, so it's a friendly time for both coasts. And if you did not get the email that we sent out this week with all of our coaching calls and all of our agenda for the month, that means you've got us, you're blocked in your spam filter. So make sure you add us a contact, make sure you approve it. You should be getting this email with all of the trainings that we have coming out. Also, a special heads up and announcement that we have a call coming up this Thursday with Dan Rawich. He's going to be leveraging the Rate Watch tool, and he's going to be doing a training on how to take market insights and use those to create credibility with home buyers and realtors. So it's going to be very detailed, it's going to be a teaching, and it should be very valuable. I will be on that call with Jacob doing an interview with Dan and delivering, I think it's going to be tremendous value to the market. So don't miss this Thursday. Want to remind you that we record these calls, so they will be available on our YouTube page. And if you haven't already, subscribe to that. Just go to YouTube, put in Mortgage Coach, subscribe. Every time a new video goes up, you'll get an alert. Just like last week, we interviewed Chris Devin, top loan officer in Boston, who is just doing a lot of really unique things. Already 81 of you have viewed this video, this recording from last week. Make sure you don't miss it. And like I said, there's always good dialogue taking place on the Mortgage Coach Facebook page. Last week, I had what I thought was an exceptional question come in from Jim Rice. Jim, thank you for being an active Mortgage Coach member. He's obviously been listening to the coaching calls, and he wanted to just clarify. We've been doing a lot of teaching about when you create an edge report and you email it to the home buyer, it makes a lot of sense, and we're seeing a lot of success stories to loop in the realtor. But it's absolutely essential and critical that you have the borrower's permission. If the borrower, first of all, you're missing an opportunity to deliver service if you don't get their permission. Because when you tell them you're going to loop in the realtor, you want to do that in a way that you're providing a service with them. You're saving time for them so that their realtor knows what is being presented. And it's important that from a realtor's perspective that you've coached them up. That, hey, you give me a home buyer, I'm gonna do a really professional interview of their needs. I'm going to provide them with some great mortgage options. If they're a first-time buyer, I'm going to do a rent versus own so that they understand the value of buying now. If they're a move-up buyer, I'm going to do a why buy now analysis so they understand the value of buying now. And then I'm going to loop you in so that you see this and you're aware of what's been presented to that client. It will improve your home buyer conversion, and it will save you time. So yeah, Jim, I mean, it's just not only important from a privacy issue perspective, it's important from I'm delivering value to everybody's perspective. So hopefully that answers that question. And again, Jim, thank you for posting that. And let's keep the conversation going on our Facebook page. I want to also rethink Tim Lamb. A couple of weeks ago, he put a great post on our Facebook page and a great success story where the realtor actually responded saying, wow, what a wonderful presentation. That was exceptional. That was outstanding. So Tim Lamb, keep these stories coming. It's valuable to inspire everybody to deliver a mortgage coach, TCA, to every single home buyer, and to make sure that the realtor's looped in. So before I bring on our special guest, I want to set the table around today's teaching, and I want to start with this statement, that the single biggest incremental opportunity to get more referrals from realtors, it's not your service or your loan program, but the quality of the insight that you deliver is part of your sales experience. So, I mean, think about that. I mean, first of all, it's really intellectually accurate, comes across pretty simple, but it's not so simple. How do you actually deliver this quality insight and do it each and every time you meet with a realtor? And a really big piece of the ingredients to do that is to show them that you know them, so that when you are meeting with a realtor, it's really obvious that you know who they are, you understand how they think, you know their attitude, you know their success levels. The more you know, the better when you have a meeting with a realtor. And now again, there's a lot of ways to get to know people before you meet them. But in the spirit of challenger sale, I believe that every mortgage professional, now more than ever, needs to be a challenger sales rep. If you don't know what I mean when I say that, you know, there's a lot of past coaching calls where I've referenced what it means to be a challenger sales rep. You need to do that now more than ever. So now more than ever, you need to be an expert at leveraging and using LinkedIn. It is a very valuable piece of the puzzle of showing people that you know them, and it's a very valuable tool to get meetings with top realtors. So I've known Tom Ninis for, over a decade, long time, been a tremendous leader in our industry. He's a regional leader in Colorado. He is an executive with a client of ours that outfits their entire mortgage organization with a mortgage coach. So Tom, it's an honor to have you on this call. Thanks for the time that you took to prepare. I know that you've got a lot of passion and a lot of strategies on how you use LinkedIn. I know that you have trained a lot of loan officers and even a lot of realtors how to use LinkedIn. So as we set the table today, for anybody that wasn't on the last call that we did, if you could just share, just how much training have you done around how to use LinkedIn, and then I'll share the desktop and let you walk us through your teachings.
Okay, well, thanks. I appreciate it, Dave, again, to share some real strategies. And, LinkedIn has been very important to me. I went to a seminar. A gentleman named Kevin Knebel introduced me to LinkedIn. And at that point, I ended up picking up a couple of books in the public library. One was called The Complete Guide to LinkedIn. One was called I'm on LinkedIn, Now What? And really became a student of it. And, by the time that we're done, I hope to share some great strategies and to the listeners on this, but also for you to understand my business plan and my business model and how this all plays out.
Right on. So I have shared the screen with you, Tom.
Okay.
We see your desktop, and
okay.
Walk us through what we're going to learn today.
Okay, sounds great. By the way, that's my beautiful grandson, if anybody wanted to know, and he's going to have a little sister in June. So we are excited to get a little princess in our lives. We're a family of all boys, and when our first grandchild was born and became a boy, we thought we were destined to have sons, and that was it. And but we are fortunate to have a little lady come into our lives, so we're excited about that.
Congratulations.
Yeah, we're excited, and my wife is really excited. I want to preface a few ideas first, and then I'm going to get into LinkedIn. This is a quote that I love. It says, "Our goal can only be reached through a vehicle of a plan in which we must fervently believe and upon which we must vigorously act. There is no other route to success." And my business plan, which you're going to see briefly because we're going to concentrate on LinkedIn, is a very specific plan that I work every day. And the plan is called PROS. The P stands, how do you and I grow a perpetual business no matter what kind of market we're in? And we've seen quite a change where it was so easy when you're at interest rates that shouldn't have existed, but they did because of the mortgage meltdown at 3.25, 3.5. Business was easy, but we saw the interest rates jump up 1% and the refinances were gone. And so were we doing the things prior to that to get us ready that when the refinances disappeared, do we have a plan in place? And that's where LinkedIn can be huge for you. So it's a perpetual business that's referral based, so that's what the R for. And the O and the S operations are so important. And for me, I always look at this, well, how can I make a sellable business and create an annuity? You know, I think about, I've been at this now for 33 years, 29 years in the Denver metro area, and I've built all these relationships, I put these systems in place. Why can't I make this business sellable? So it's been something that has been a driving force on how I look at things. And then there's 3 pillars of business. We have what's called lead generation. The middle pillar is going to be your clients and your past clients, or your current clients and your past clients. For me, 41 to 48% of my business comes from them. And the last pillar is professional referral sources. And so if we looked at your net worth, this is another way of looking at it. Here's a question for you. How loyal are your past clients? How about your sphere of influence? Are they referring business to you? And let's look at the network of professional referral sources that you currently have. Are they A's? They're always giving you the business. That didn't sound right, did it? Always giving you the business. But are you the man or the lady that they give the referrals to? Or do you have a bunch of C's? And I'm going to show you how do we find the A's and how do we convert these A's over to us. And then the last one is your pipeline of suspects, prospects, and clients. What does that look like right now? Here's something I want you to think about when it comes to LinkedIn, is the rule of 250. This was by a gentleman named Joe Girard, who is in the Guinness Book of World Records as the greatest salesperson ever on this earth. And you think about this gentleman, he sold more cars by himself than 85% of all the car dealerships in America 5 years in a row. So if you think about that, if every person that you and I connect with, if they know 250 people, then how big could that network be for you? Even if they're not doing business with you, they might know somebody who will need your services. And that's the cool thing about LinkedIn, because if it's true that the average person knows 250 people and they know 250 people, just even having 250 people who know that, you have 62,500 potential targets. And if somebody could just share a few opportunities for you, how many leads could that be? So this is how LinkedIn plays for me. Let me preface that there are 2 books that have impacted me greatly in the last few years. And the first book is called Love is the Killer App by Tim Sanders. And the second book is called Blue Ocean Strategies, and that is by W. Chan Kim. And Love is the Killer App looked at the business model for the consumer today, or even for the professional referral source, is kind of like a 3-legged milk stool. The first leg is knowledge. And what's important is that you and I have knowledge, but guess what? If we don't have a network to share it with, then our knowledge is worthless. And so you got to have knowledge. You have to have a network to share it with. And the third part of his business plan is you have to share it with compassion and no strings attached. That's the beauty of working with you, Dave, is that you've done this for years. You have great knowledge. You have a network you're willing to share it with, and you've touched a lot of people with no strings attached. and it's very unusual as a business model today, and I commend you for that. The blue ocean strategy is a little different. If you look at the blue ocean, or the red ocean, he compares the difference between red ocean and blue ocean. The red ocean represents what we would say what the mortgage industry is as it exists today. And even though, for example, Mortgage Coach has been around, how long have you been involved in this now, Dave? Is he there?
It's been over 15 years. We're going on our 16-year anniversary.
Okay, and then what's interesting is that you've shared a lot, you've got great technology, yet a lot of originators don't use it even if they have it. And so you can literally create yourself a blue ocean by being an expert on Mortgage Coach, as I have been with LinkedIn. So we don't want to keep looking at ourselves as commodity. We want to look at ourselves as an expert. We set ourselves totally different, so keep everybody in the red ocean. We want to separate ourselves in a blue ocean. And we can do it with all of these different kinds of professionals. And so this is what Tom Ninness is looking for. I'm looking for, let's just work with realtors. Realtors that work their business full-time. They invest in their business. They create loyalty with their clients. They're great networkers. They execute transactions on a regular and consistent basis. They're professional in appearance and business manner. They're willing to listen and share new ideas. There is an essence match. We work well together. There's a respect for myself and my team, and they're a person that I can trust when it comes to referrals. So again, if we look at a client.
Hey, Tom.
Yes, sir?
I want to jump in real quick just to make sure folks did not miss what just happened. While we're going to do a training on LinkedIn here, I think that clarity and that detail documented around, who is a target realtor. I mean, I hope that was a big takeaway for folks that, whatever your criteria is. I mean, how many, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bullet points of criteria that Tom has around what is a realtor I want to do business with. If you don't have that, if you haven't written it down in a way that's personal to you, to me, I've already got a couple takeaways. The 250, I mean, what a great way to look at our network and really get focused on, we don't need a database of 5,000. We don't need a database of 1,000. We need 100 to 150 people that know us, love us, respect us, and think about us all the time. And then this. So I just want to make sure that takeaway was not missed. What are your criteria for a good referral partner? Continue, Tom.
All right. So, again, if we look at a client, there is this many opportunities that we have available to us. And if let's say, for example, we land an HR director through LinkedIn. I mean, you think about how many employees they have. I mean, this can keep going and going and going and creating a perpetual business. So I'm going to go and now concentrate on LinkedIn. And we're going to go to my site. Again, Dave, thanks for the opportunity to share with everybody. Come on. Not sure why that did that. I'm going to get it back up here.
I'll tell you when we see it, Tom. So also want to remind folks that on our LinkedIn page, which is an invite-only page for the Mortgage Coach community, we will be taking some notes, sharing some notes, and create a bit of a discussion forum for the takeaways from today's call. So far, my big takeaways were the power and importance of having your 250, and the power and importance of having a real well-documented who is a perfect target referral partner. And now we're going to get into LinkedIn. I can see your LinkedIn page, Tom, and look forward to learning.
Okay, so this is my LinkedIn page. I spend probably about an hour each day going on LinkedIn. They have a wonderful phone application, so if you don't have it, download it. also, if you and I are not connected on LinkedIn, then let's connect. Because one of the things I'm going to show you is, when you get a connection or you invite somebody, how do you respond? And what's interesting, 93% of those on LinkedIn have no response at all. So we're going to talk about that. So one of the things that I'm always doing is I'm looking to see what I can do to touch people. Like this particular person, I'll go back and I can congratulate her for a new job that she has. If you look at it, for example, currently I have 6 people who have checked me out in the last day, and I've shown up so far 25 searches. There's certain reasons why that's happening, and it's because of the profile that I have and the things that I've done to stay involved in LinkedIn. Now, when I show people this, they think, oh my goodness, Tom will connect with anybody and everybody, and that's not true. But I do have 4,171 connections. What's important about that, if you look, and you can see this, it says new people in your network since March the 2nd is 41,805. And that, to me, is very powerful because not only have I connected with these individuals that have asked me to connect with them or I've invited, but look at the network that has grown because of my involvement on LinkedIn. And I just don't know of any other tool that allows me to have that kind of connection. So again, one of the things that I'm doing on LinkedIn is I am really utilizing the power of this. For example, I don't know how many of you have shared any updates but on your home page, but it's very simple. So in my case, I'm going to share one right now. So attention, Colorado realtors. How about the weather report says that we have great weather for open houses this weekend. Post your open houses at www.openhouseweekend.org. Now, this is one of my blue ocean strategies. This is actually my site that I created for realtors to do open houses. And so what will happen is that I will then get notified when they're going to be doing their open house, and then at that point I can contact them to get going with their open house. And so that's how I utilize this. I don't know why it's doing this. I must have spelled it wrong. So I'm not going to send it, but again, that's how you utilize it. Now, I've got a class that's coming up in a couple of weeks. I've already done something by getting that out. So there's a lot of things that you can do. You can send articles, you can do some attachments, but utilize the home page whenever you can. One of the things that I have is home buyers marketing, for example, and I will, because I've got 4,000 people, I'll let them know, hey, I've got this wonderful site. If you want to have access to every house in every neighborhood, just go and download this app. Here's my code, which is my cell phone. Put in your own code, and then at that point you have full access to the MLS. I do that about every 2 weeks, and I get about 8 clients that are unattached, or 8 prospects unattached, to pass on to realtors if they decide to do business with myself. So there's a lot of things you can do on the home page. I want to talk about the profile because this is one of the most important things. So one of the things that when I get a chance to coach people about LinkedIn is sometimes they'll put, for example, I could put Tom Ninis, Director of Area Production, First Cal Mortgage. Well, the problem with that is that I'm trying to get people to find Tom Ninis as a mortgage expert. Because if you go down in this area, you're able to put down your current company that you're working with. In my case, it's First Cal Mortgage, and I have another company called Summit Champions that I currently have involved. So again, when people are doing word searches, they might type in mortgage, they might type in FHA, VA, conventional. You have up to 200 characters in this area that you can have those kind of word searches put together. And I think most of us who, if we're on LinkedIn, we know we just go into edit profile and make those changes. Now the summary is another area that you're going to be able to share a little bit about you and yourself and what your company does. And you have up to 2,000 characters that you're able to share all the things that you are doing. So if people are doing word searches, then it's very important that you really do a good job in completing that information. One of the things that's interesting, because we're going to be doing some searches, is the kind of searches that people will do on LinkedIn and that you actually will get business from. Now in my case, you're going to see that I have everything that I've been involved in, including the lead groups that I'm in, any publications, all the skills and endorsements. Again, you can go into the profile edit and add all of these different things so that you're making yourself bigger than life. I have my college, and what's interesting is I also have my high school. And a lot of people leave that out, and I want to show you the power of even having your high school. I put down my interest. What's interesting is that I play the drums. I have received business because people are drummers. We all kind of hang out with each other. There's a joke that says, what do you call a guy that hangs out with musicians? They say a drummer. I have gotten business because I have an Australian cattle dog. And so, again, you want to put whatever you can in here about yourself for people that are going to do some word searches. You never know where that business is coming from. I share a little bit about some of the honors, some of the things that I'm into, and some of the groups that I've been involved in. So I'm doing everything I can to show off or toot my horn about Tom Ninis. You know, if you compare LinkedIn with websites, what's cool about it is that usually when we have a website, we can't fix anything. We have to call a webmaster. Well, we have full access to LinkedIn, so we can get on the back end and tweak it every day if we wanted to. And that's one of the neat things, because I am not a geek at all. I just know that if I'm going to do something, I want to separate myself from the rest of the people on how they portray themselves in LinkedIn. Any thoughts on that, Dave?
Well, I think I do have several thoughts. I don't want to steal any of your thunder, but I am going to ask a couple questions. Okay. One question that's been coming from the community multiple times is, do you have a premium account? Yes or no? And if so, why do you invest with a premium account? Okay.
The answer is yes, this is a premium account. The reason is part of my responsibilities is to recruit for First Cal. And so it allows me, for those that I'm not connected with, I can send out in-mails, and that's one of the important things for me, is that to, kind of go behind the scenes. I really don't want to send emails through their email address at work. It's probably going to be blocked. So that's why I utilize the paid account, so I can send in-mails to people that I'm not connected with.
Got it. Got it. And by the way, to the community, I also have a premium account for the same reason, to be able to go out and connect in LinkedIn with people that I'm not directly already connected with. I think it varies to how you're going to use it. I mean, my take, and Tom, let me know if you feel differently, is I do believe that LinkedIn is mature enough in the business market that just like having a business card, just like dressing to impress, everybody should have a professional presence on LinkedIn. There's enough people that use it. It's got enough awareness that you need to have a professional presence. That means, don't have spelling errors in how you've described yourself. Make sure that the information is accurate. Think of it as a resume. You're going to meet with referral partners, CPAs, financial planners, and LinkedIn savvy realtors, and a lot of them will look you up in LinkedIn. And when they look you up in LinkedIn, you want it to, at a minimum, be professional. And I give that advice. I think that's for every mortgage professional in the business. I think if you do not have a LinkedIn presence, it's just, it's a missed opportunity, and it's not serving you. Now, in terms of, and Tom, feel free to share your feedback, in terms of how aggressively do you use it, I do think, you've got to have a passion for networking. You've got to have a passion for using technology in savvy ways, which, there's some people that just, they don't have the keyboard skills. It's not something they have a lot of natural passion around. So I'm not saying don't do it. I think everybody should. But if you're not so inclined and it's absolutely painful for you, I'm not going to make you feel bad. I would just say there are a lot of very LinkedIn savvy realtors, financial professionals in your market, home buyers in your markets that are professionals. There's just a massive opportunity to connect with people and to create an atmosphere of trust and respect on how you deliver value. I mean, do you agree with that, Tom?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's just like even your picture. I cannot believe some of the pictures that I have seen, or somebody would maybe just have their logo here. I've seen some that are very small pictures. I had this one person who's I'll say a mortgage professional. It looked like somebody had just taken their picture while he was sipping a beer. All you could see is the beer. He had his baseball cap on backwards, and all you could see is his eyes. And, again, you and I only have one chance for a first impression.
Right, and this is a first impression. So I just wanted to add some of that. I also wanted to bring that question from the community. I am, when I'm not talking, I'm looking at your questions. So feel free to ask away if you have some more questions and continue, and I'll jump in when I have something else to add.
Okay, all right, let's, I've got a lot to cover, so I want to just show you about an advanced search. So one of the things you can do searches based on keywords. So if you were looking for realtors and you put in your postal code, you'll find out all the realtors that are in your area, and you can, you can do it actually as close as 10 miles, for example. I mentioned high schools, and so I went to Belleville High School in Belleville, Michigan, which is a suburb outside of Detroit. And so what I want to do is I am going to see who is around Belleville High School 10 miles away from me. Now what's important, why I did it, there's only 3 of us, but notice this person named David Barber. And he's got more initials and designations than Carter has liver pills. And when I graduated from high school, he was just becoming an incoming freshman. So I don't know who this guy is. But he went to Belleville High School. And when I reached out to him, he ignored me. So immediately I found a person that was already connected with him, a title person. I asked him to make the introduction for me, which he did. And finally I got David to connect with me, who happened to be the person who was running the Realtor Rally for Colorado 3 years ago, who happened to be looking for speakers. And because we went to the same high school, he met with me and allowed me to speak. Now, is that a great connection or what? So that's why it's so important to have a full resume about who you are. If you don't have your high school, I suggest that you put your high school in there. Anything that you're involved in, you want to do. Okay? We've had a number of people who have requested to connect with me. So what I want to do is I'm going to pick on Carla. And so Carla, what I'm going to do is I'm going to accept you. And so I'm going to type up Carla's name. There she is. Okay, and we are now connected. So I can learn a little bit about, and typically what I would do is before I would even connect with Carla, I would check her out as far as where she's from, what her background is, those kind of things. And so, you know, maybe we have a connection. So I'm going to learn a lot about her. Great job, Carla. Great honors. But now I want to send a response to her. And there are 4 parts to a response. It's just like any marketing. And the first is I want to create something that will interrupt, that she is going to take time and read. The second thing is I'm going to share some information about myself. The third is I'm going to offer her something for free or to take action, especially if I want to get a chance to meet with her. Now, we're not going to meet because she's out in Seattle, but I'm still going to offer her something to take action. And the last is I'm going to also share my contact information. So this is what I do.
So by the way, Tom, I do want to make sure we put some context. Well, I understand, you know, your role at your organization is to, you know, bring loan officers in. I want to, one, respect all the companies that are clients of ours. You know, I don't want to get too deep into teaching recruiting strategies other than let's put a context around it, around recruiting realtors, you know, so yeah. try to bring it to that, you know, and I hope everybody, as you heard that takeaway, you're on this call, while some of you might lead and build teams, and let's face it, hey, I'm all about the 5% mortgage professionals that are mortgage coach members. We're here to get everybody on that team. So there's, you know, recruiting's okay as long as we're bringing in people from outside mortgage coach communities into mortgage coach communities.
Right. And Dave, I'm going to assure you that this, what I'm showing has nothing to do with recruiting.
Okay. I just wanted to frame that, and I want to make sure that everybody is armed with this strategy and these details to recruit realtors, financial planners, and other types of advisors.
You bet. Let me show you what I have built. So one of the things that I think the reason why people don't respond is because it takes time. So if I was giving everyone an action plan, is that they should have on their desktop a LinkedIn response folder. And in my case, I have them for CPAs and financial planners. I have them for recruits. I have them for just mortgage people. I have them for realtors outside the state. I have them for the state of Colorado. And so, for example, on realtors that are in Colorado, it says, I appreciate us connecting on LinkedIn. I hope that it will be beneficial for both of us. A couple of things like I'd like to mention about myself and hope to learn more about you. I've been in the mortgage industry for 33 years and still have the same passion in helping individuals and families with their purchase and refinance needs. I share a little bit about what we have. And if they're not aware of these programs, then we need to meet. So that's just information. The second part is I'm going to offer something for free. You know, it says I have great passion for the real estate professional. For that reason, I write a free weekly e-coaching sales training letter, and this shows them how they can sign up for it. I also tell them that I wrote a book called The 90-Day Journey to Your Sales Success, and the Colorado Association of Realtors have endorsed it. But here's how I meet people face-to-face. It says, LinkedIn plays a large part in my prospecting strategies. If you have 45 minutes available, let's schedule a time at my office. I'll show you some of my discoveries that will increase your prospects, opportunities, and closings. Here's wishing you great prosperity in 2014. Let me know what a great referral source or lead would look like for you. And then it has all my contact information.
So first of all, I just want to tie this to some of the past calls that we've had, since this is an ongoing weekly coaching call. You know, great, elegant opening, gave something of value, and then and you made a unique promise. And I am going to remind you folks some of the promises that we're recommending that you make in the market. So when I kind of wrap up the call in 10, 15 minutes here, I'll do that. But I love the fact, so I mean, it looks like what you're doing is you have these awesome templates ready to go, and now you're going to cut and paste that into a LinkedIn response? Is that where you're going with this?
Yep, exactly. And so the same thing is, for CPAs. But, again, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do recon. I'm going to see what else I can add. So I might say, hey, I see you're from Michigan. I appreciate us connecting up. So whatever I can keep ties, with that I can add some personal touches, I'm going to do that. And then at that point, I can cut and paste most of it. This is going to CPAs and financial planners. With my CPA and financial planners clients, I focus on financial transparency, clarity, loan comparison, and a detailed home buying analysis. Where do you think I got that from, Dave?
Looks like you're a mortgage coach, leader.
There you go. So again, you got to have these ready, or you're going to not respond.
Yeah.
And again, I've had some people say, hey, you want to grab some coffee? It's like, not really. I don't have time to do that. I want to first get to know, like, and trust. Are you going to meet the criteria I'm looking for professionals? That's what I would rather do, is first have a phone call before I meet face-to-face. Okay? So an action plan would be to create responses, and as I mentioned, these are all the different responses that I have available for me, and that's why I think I've had some people say, Tom, do you got something automated? And the answer is no, I don't. But because LinkedIn is such an important way of doing business for me, that's the reason why I have them prepared. So Carla, I will get back to you with a response, but I want to move forward and show you then the power of utilizing groups.
Ooh, I like that.
Okay, so if we go to interests and we go to groups, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get involved with as many groups that gives me opportunities. And by the way, Colorado Mortgage News and Information is my group. And if you really want to make a significant difference on LinkedIn, create your own group. I met a realtor friend of mine who told me he had 12,000 connections. I said, how did you do that? Well, he's got 6 different groups. That's how he did it. And he has been in the top 5 realtors in the Denver metro area 22 years in a row, and I'm fortunate that I've done probably 98% of everything that he has sold. Okay. Each large city has something like
So by the way, I just want to throw that call out. What are, again, I think a takeaway for everybody on this call is to identify and find the groups that are most popular in your local geos. Find the LinkedIn savvy realtors that are active in this way, and then show them that you know them. Get a meeting. It's a clear opportunity. I just want to make sure that was connected for folks.
You bet. So in my case, for example, Colorado real estate agents, Colorado real estate brokers and realtors, Denver real estate brokers, all of us have those kind of groups. But there's other groups out there that we can go consumer direct. For example, Linked to Denver. I'm going to click on that. Now, notice how many members are in that group. 31,767. So every time I do something, for example, if I wanted to start a discussion, or if I wanted to talk about open houses, for example, or talk about the power of being pre-approved, I can put that in here, and now there's a chance of 31,767 people who can see it. But in addition, if I click on this, over the 31,767, I have now access to every individual of the 31,767. The thing is, though, there's probably, I don't know, 20, 30, 50 lenders that are in here, but how many send out a consistent message separating yourself from the rest of the people that are out there? There's all these discussions that are going on with this particular group, so you want to participate in some of the discussions. And everything that I read said that you should be involved in at least 2 discussions a day and throw out a question out there in one of the groups. And that's how people start getting to see who you are and what you are about. So as an action plan, I suggest that you be involved in as many groups, but a minimum would be 20 groups that you participate in. And then not only joining them, but participating and bringing value. Again, it's that love is the killer app. You have great knowledge, but if you're not sharing it with your network with no strings attached, then you might as well not join the group. Okay? Okay, one of the last things I want to show you is if you hover over your picture and you go to privacy and settings, there's a couple of things I think is very important. The first thing is that when you are doing searches on people, do you want them to know who you are? So it says select what others see when you viewed their profile. And by the way, it's under profile. And so I could show them that I'm Tom Ninis, or I could show them as someone in the leadership function at First Cal, or I can be totally anonymous, which that is what I've chosen to do. And the reason is that, you know, because of my responsibilities in recruiting, I don't want to look like I'm stalking somebody. I'm going back to their site and re-looking at it and gaining more information, but that's the reason I do that. And so, but, you know, again, if it's going to be going after realtors or CPAs or financial planners, you might want to say, I want to show them who I am so that they know that there is a person of significance that is looking at them. Does that make sense? Is that what do you do, Dave, in this case?
One, I'm not intentional in this case, so I have not set up preferences, but I quite frankly would prefer that people know that I'm paying attention. In the spirit of show them, you know them, I just lean towards transparency in this area.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty much all over the board. If we went back and clicked on who has been checking out Tom Ninis, I would say it's a third. Third are anonymous. Third of them is really not telling me who they are, but I know what company they are. And then there are some that will give me full disclosure.
Yeah. I mean, I do check who checks me out, you know, but not in any type of regular basis. And I don't know that that's ever kind of helped me. You know, for the most part, most of my value is just, you know, it's become a habit that whenever I'm meeting with someone, I check them out on LinkedIn, and I try to read it and get some, what did I, you know, just a habit of what's the actionable insight here that I can bring into the conversation.
Sure.
As part of my pre-meeting prep. And there's no doubt that I've had people that I've tried to get a hold of via email, and they don't respond. I shoot them a LinkedIn message, and again, sometimes they don't respond to that either, and sometimes they respond. So I found it as just another kind of uncluttered place to communicate. It's hard to connect with people.
Sure.
Those are my two big usages.
Yeah, or you could send them an email. You could also do that.
Yeah, I've done that, but not as much.
Okay. I'm going to click on the groups, companies, applications. And so
by the way, Tom, we've got about 5 more minutes, so just wanted to give you a heads up where we're at on the time.
Okay, I'm good. Under groups, companies, and applications, set the frequencies of the group digest emails. One of the things I've talked to some people and said, oh, man, I can't get on groups. They drive you flipping crazy with how many discussions and everything like that. So what you can do is you can go in here and set in the frequencies, and you're going to see that most of the ones that Well, it's probably about 50-50. There's some that I only get on a weekly basis, and then there are some that I get on a daily basis. The ones that are daily are the ones that I want to have some impact and keep abreast of what's going on. So you can literally go in here and make those changes. I wanted to talk briefly just on recommendations. I don't know if any of those out there will get an email from somebody says, will you make me a recommendation? And you don't even know who that person is. One of the things that I believe is my word is my honor, and so typically what I'll do is I'll send them an email back and say, you know, I really don't know who you are. We've never done business together. Would you like to meet face-to-face and get to know each other? And then I would feel more comfortable. You know, 100% of those people will just go and try to find somebody else. I don't know how much credence people are taking as far as referrals or recommendations on this site, especially when we go down to this particular area where you're doing top skills, because people can literally just go on sites and click, 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 click away. But it's still important that if somebody is going to check you out and you're giving them a first impression, then you definitely should put as many skills and endorsements as you can. That's what I really wanted to cover, Dave. Is there any other questions that have come up?
Yes, there are. I do want to do a bit of a debrief on what I wrote down as some takeaways.
Okay.
I didn't write this one down, but I do want to cover it on the point you made around recommendations. I mean, I think recommendations are really powerful, but Tom, to your point, I think it doesn't show well for you when you make a random request to people that you don't know. So, you know, be thoughtful and be strategic around that. So, you know, here were some of my takeaways. You know, I wrote down, and I think everybody should ask yourself, who are your top 250 referring friends? And if you only have 50, that's okay, but get clear on a number. You know, who are these folks? And I put friends down because, let's face it, even whether it's truly someone that was a friend in high school or whether it's a realtor that's become a friend, it's a friend. I mean, people refer business to people that they consider friends. So get strategic. You know, take the time, write them down, create some groups around them, be really intentional around that. I loved your takeaway. You know, what is your criteria for a great referral partner? And if you've only got 2 or 3 bullet points, I say go deeper. Come up with 8 bullet points around what make a great referral partner for you. Few people ask me for a copy of this. I want to remind you, this is recorded, so you can go back. Right now it's at 9:54, and just go to 54 minutes into this call, and you can write this down. You know, that's another way to get to it. I wrote down, what are the best LinkedIn groups in your local market? I think you guys should know the answer to that. And you should know the realtors and referral partners that are the most LinkedIn savvy in your local markets. Those are folks that you have access to in a unique way. And if you are one of the loan officers that has a great LinkedIn profile, that has put passion around leveraging technology in this way, it's a blue ocean for you, and it's a huge opportunity. Obviously, Tom has carved out his own blue ocean. So, you know, some action plans that I wrote down: participate in 20 LinkedIn groups. Sorry, I didn't put the LinkedIn. I noticed a typo there. Connect with LinkedIn savvy realtors, and create 2 or 3 awesome LinkedIn response templates. You know, I'm actually going to do that myself. I think I've been a little more ad hoc than you are, Tom, and a takeaway for me personally was just to create a few templates so that I respond more often to people and I respond in a more quality way. So that was good. So Tom, I'm going to wrap up for about 3 minutes, and then we'll open it up for Q&A. Anything else you want to share? Does that sound good?
Yep.
So this is a question I've asked a few times on these coaching calls, because I think we've given you some good insight and ammunition to get the meeting with people. But if you don't make the right promise, if you don't say the right thing in the meeting, if you don't have a sustainable, unique value proposition, it's not going to turn into money for you. So what's costing your realtors more money than they realize, and you can help them fix it? Well, we talked about this in past coaching calls. to me, this is a promise that you can make, is that, hey, referring a home buyer to me will actually improve your conversion rate and save you a few phone calls because of the way that I do business. Now, by the way, not every loan officer can make that promise and then actually execute on it and actually visually show how they can execute on it. So as a mortgage coach loan officer, you can deliver on that promise. And let me show you how. One way is not this. It's not a GFE. This does not improve the conversion rate for the realtor. This is what every loan officer in America does. This is not going to do it either, a fee worksheet. Or for those of you that are doing your pre-quals, a realtor sends you a lead and you pull out your yellow pad, which, by the way, is fine. I have a yellow pad. But this has nothing to do with the way I'm going to deliver value to the home buyer, and it's got nothing to do with the way that I'm going to deliver a better conversion for both myself and the realtor. This is how you do it. You make sure that you send a quality presentation to the home buyer and that you loop in the realtor and that you have a great email template to do that. So then the home buyer, if they're on a mobile device, they can open it on a mobile device. If they click on it from a desktop, they get a desktop. But the home buyer gets a great mortgage experience that improves the conversion rate. And then here's where the realtor comes in. The realtor, if they open it on their desktop, they get desktop. If they open it on their mobile, they get mobile. And now the realtor's in the loop. So they get to see you delivering this amazing mortgage experience. They get the gift of knowing that they give you a referral. They know you, they like you, they trust you. And now they get to see you really deliver something exceptional to their home buyer. So this is a really powerful promise, a really powerful strategy, and realtors love this. I mean, we know it. There's way too much evidence. I bring this into our coaching calls every week. I bring in success stories around realtors saying, wow, great presentation, outstanding, and we know that this will get you more business. So in addition to all the LinkedIn homework that I've given you guys in action plans, you know, let's get really clear, really focused on just create 5 TCAs over the next 5 days. If you're new to Mortgage Coach and this is your first coaching call, that's going to be a bigger lift than someone who's been with Mortgage Coach for a year and has created hundreds of TCAs. But I want to make sure everybody's going to deliver 5 over the next 5 days. You're going to CC the realtor. You're going to use the app so that when you're out with realtors, you're having conversations. So just to make sure that that's connected, I want to see just how many of you are actually going to do this. I launched a poll. How many of you are actually going to create 5 TCAs over the next 5 days? I want to get a feel for, are we engaging? Are we connecting? And by the way, if you're not, I'd like to know who's not. I'd like to know, you know, again, I would like to know why not. If you wouldn't mind emailing me at Dave@Mortgage Coach, if you clicked no here, I would love to know why not. If your answer is because I don't have enough leads to do 5, then I would say go back and do an annual review for someone you closed a loan for last year. So there's no reason that you can't do this 5 times. So guys, we're here to help you. We're here to make sure that you execute on the ideas that we share. I'm going to make sure Jacob Gibbs on our upcoming Thursday call is going to talk about TCAs. I'm going to continue to talk about Tom's LinkedIn strategies. I want to make sure everybody's getting our emails so that you know about all the trainings that we're doing, you know about this Thursday's Dan Rawich call. Do not miss this call. It's going to be awesome. This Thursday, Jacob is going to really focus on creating 5 TCAs over the next 5 days. So make sure that you do not miss that. And Tom, we've got about a minute here. I'll give you some closing thoughts. Any closing thoughts as we wrap up today's call for everybody?
Yep. You know, when I first got into business, I mean, all the realtor offices were open, and then they started closing them. And now we have a lot of realtor offices that they have their own lender, or the realtor is working out of a remote area, and the offices have gotten smaller. So, again, this gives you an avenue to find agents, potential professional referral sources, but that includes CPAs, financial planners, and that list that we talked about earlier. So, and again, Dave, I appreciate the opportunity to share with the listeners on this very important tool.
Good. Well, Tom, if you could put a link in case anybody's having a hard time finding you in LinkedIn, where we promoted your call on our Facebook page. Let's give everybody a link to connect with you so that you can make some new friends. I did see a question come in, and I'd love your answer to this. Sometimes when I go to connect with someone in LinkedIn, it lets me connect, and sometimes it says it asks for an email address. You know, I mean, obvious. You know, the answer to this is obvious. Get their email address, and there's a lot of ways of doing that. But you know, any response you have to that in terms of why that happens sometimes, it doesn't happen sometimes, and how you approach that?
Yeah, they've actually got it set up that way in their preferences, and so you know, I'm like you. You know, I'm going to go under, over on the side, trying to find out that email address so I can connect with that person.
Got it. So the answer is that person is created some settings so that they are harder to get a hold of. So good to know. They're really filtering, and it's also a heads up that make sure you don't start spamming that person. Make sure you really, if you get that email and you are able to connect with them, you probably should put a "show me you know me" in your introduction. Don't just do the LinkedIn typical, hey, I'd like to connect with you in LinkedIn. Sure. Show them you know them. Tell them why you want to connect with them. You know, all the things that Tom talked about. Introduce yourself. Give some value. Give some context. And so that is a takeaway. By the way, there's just been a tremendous amount of questions around the premium. I'm not here to recommend everybody should sign up for premium. In fact, if you don't know exactly why you should do it, and you're using LinkedIn and you're just kind of like you're bumping against the wall, then okay, maybe you need to use more in-mail features. So for the most part, my recommendation is do not upgrade unless you know exactly why you need to, and it's holding you back from your outreaches. So while Tom is very savvy in LinkedIn, he's using it in a very aggressive and a very consistent way. Until you get to that point, don't be upgrading, in today's market unless you know exactly why you're doing it.
Yep, I agree.
All right. So by the way, we're a few minutes over. Tom, any last word before we wrap it up?
Nope. Just I wish everybody great success. And if we're not connected on LinkedIn, find me. There's not a lot of Ninnises out there, and love to connect up with you.
All right. Let me know. My last survey question is, let us know what you thought of today's call. On a scale of good to great, let us know what you thought. Have a wonderful day. Have a great week. Create 5 TCAs, and we'll see you next Tuesday. And I hope I see a lot of you this Thursday on the Dan Rawitch call. Take care, everybody.